Hey friends, Bart here. I'm out in Las Vegas at reInvent. It's Monday morning. I'm getting ready to head off to my first workshop here in a few minutes. Wanted to bring everybody a little update about what my week looks like. So if you were following me on Twitter or on LinkedIn, you might have heard me talking about a poll that I ran recently and also talking about finding charitable, environmental, sustainable, sorts of interesting, probably nonprofit organizations that are using Amazon Web Services. And so my whole point is that at reInvent this week, I really want to try to lock in some of those stories. You know, honestly, I've been in IT for a long time, and there are parts of it that I absolutely love. I love all the tools. I love the problems that we can solve with it. But frankly, I burn out on some of the organizations that we're supporting. And I'm wondering what the rest of our viewers out there think about this as well. And in particular, I ran a poll recently that was asking whether or not we thought that organizations like tech companies or high information tech organizations should be more aware of or speak more openly about what they support and don't support from a sustainability perspective. At reInvent this week, they are doing a program called the, Fill It Forward program. So these are the little water bottles that they have here. Pretty cool idea. First thing is that they cut down on single-use plastics, so kudos there. And of course, you get to refill this bottle. And every time you refill it, if you scan using the little, companion app, it will make a donation on your behalf for each one of those bottle fills that you go throughout the day. Pretty cool stuff. This means that throughout the entire conference here with tens of thousands of people, I think it's over 60,000 people that are going to be here this week. That's a lot of single-use plastic that they're reducing, and that's a lot of water fill-ups and a lot of charitable donations that AWS is going to be making. So I think that's super fantastic. Let's face it, AWS is a really big organization. And what I found was that a lot of people felt, through my poll, felt like, yeah, infotech companies should definitely be more open about what it is that they support and why they support it. Along those lines as well, I did also find that a lot of people feel like maybe we shouldn't be worried about it, it's just business. And this is kind of some of the sentiment that I was picking up on, and I was kind of curious to see what others felt about it as well. And then some other folks kind of had some interesting responses. They were saying things like, well, you know, in a lot of privacy situations, organizations might not be able to talk about some of the things that they support or some of the organizations that they work with. And I certainly understand that part of it. But that's only a small section of the entire information technology world. I am challenging you guys out there as learners and viewers to help me find these success stories. I'm really interested in finding out how technology, and maybe in particular AWS, Amazon Web Services products, are helping nonprofit organizations solve those sorts of issues. There are a couple of nonprofit and also what they call public sector-based sessions that they're doing here this week. I'm going to check out some of those later on. And along the lines, too, I'm also going to be taking a look at the We Power Tech group and go hang out with them a little bit and try to catch some of their stories. That group is all about driving the diversity within the AWS cloud computing world. So really cool stuff that's happening there. But again, if you guys are hearing of interesting organizations, or if you yourself work for an organization that is doing charitable, empowering, sustainable work using technology, I really want to hear about it and find out maybe how I could get involved and help you out. One of the last things I wanted to kind of leave you with before I head off into the conference today is that on Corey Quinn's Screaming in the Cloud a few weeks ago, I heard this gentleman talking about green computing and what it means to be a data center provider and consider the impact of where you source your electric and your carbon footprint from. Now, AWS is pretty cool about this. A lot of their data centers have a lot of offset from wind, solar, and credit systems like that. I believe the Oregon US West one is almost completely offset. It's their most complete one. AWS ranks pretty high up there amongst Google and Microsoft. Google has, I believe, almost complete offsets on their credits. So this is sort of a good step. And this is the kind of thing that I'm thinking maybe we can try to encourage more of as well. The final thing that I wanted to ask is, as a follow-up to my poll, I'm curious, how many of you have ever changed or considered a different job opportunity because of the sustainable, charitable, giving sides of the organization itself? I know that when I came to CBT Nuggets, it was one of the questions that I asked them. I wanted my work to contribute to their success so that they could, in turn, go and do a lot more work in the broad communities that we're a part of. So again, I'm curious, how many of you have ever considered that part of it, or maybe chosen a different job path or a different employer based on the criteria in their charitable donations? I'm just really curious. I hear so many people chasing dollar signs, chasing salaries, And of course, those are certainly worthwhile endeavors, but in the end of the day, I have to kind of ask myself, where does that get us? Okay? And I'm just curious, so let me know. Follow me out there on Twitter, at CloudBart. Let me know what you think about that question. I'll be posting all this out there to YouTube. So like and subscribe. I'll be bringing you more information about my day ahead coming up. In fact, it's time for me to head off to an account management workshop. So this is a workshop where we're going to be talking about managing multiple AWS accounts. I'm sure they're going to get into organizations, talk about service control policies, some of those fun pieces. Big part of the enterprise AWS world is using multiple AWS accounts. I personally have 3, and I know that CBT Nuggets has quite a few, and many organizations can have even dozens or hundreds of AWS accounts. So I'm excited to see how that goes. Later on, too, I'm going to get into some IoT sessions. And then we've got the Monday night Peter DeSantis keynote that's coming up this evening, as well as opening up the quad. So I'll be bringing you more coverage from there. Thanks again, friends, and we'll talk to you soon. See you in the cloud.